Yo, welcome back to a new video. Guys, before we jump into this epic Black Clover Fury that I've come up with today, I do just want to say we are doing a giveaway in this video at 500 likes, so please be sure to hit that like button. It greatly supports this channel and allows me to make better, greater content for you guys with more edits and more fun in the videos in general. So please be sure to hit that like button. And let's just jump straight into this pretty super cool epic fury that hopefully, fingers crossed, most of you will believe. Alright, jumping right into it. When I talk and mention the final villain, I'm talking about the final villain. The one the MC's ideologies will clash with, the big bad boss at the end of the story, the one to beat and the one that will have the most backstory and character development as the main antagonist. Now, every series does this, the main big bad villain differently. For example, My Hero Academia introduced Shigaraki very early on before chapter 50. In other retrospects, One Piece introduced Blackbeard in chapter 223 just before the Sky Island arc, and it was not until Portuguese D Ace's death that Blackbeard officially became the main villain of the story alongside Akainu in chapter 574. On the other hand of the scale, Madara was who most would argue is the true final villain of Naruto, and Madara was not introduced until chapter 370, although he was mentioned before this moment, and Naruto has over 700 chapters. And my final example that I could give is Zeref and Acnologia were not introduced until the Tendro Island arc of Fairy Tail that started on chapter 200, and Fairy Tail lasted until chapter 545, and in the later chapters it started to build up Zeref as the main overall antagonist of the Fairy Tail manga, linking back and clashing with the ideologies of Natsu Dragneel. Now, Black Clover. Moris Libardirt, I believe, is the final villain of Black Clover. Moris, like Shigaraki, was introduced very early on as chapter 16, where Klaus mentions those embedded jewels. I've heard of those. There's a rumor that the Diamond Kingdom is raising mage warriors with artificially amplified magic. They chose young children with powerful magic, put them in fierce competition, embedded magic items in them to enhance their powers, and in the end, made them kill each other. After this moment, in chapter 18, we then learn Mana, one of the four classical elements, fire, wind, water, and earth, dwells in each mage. Mages can only use magic from their own mana or from a single attribute derived from it, but he's ignoring that rule. He has two types of magic. Not only that, but he used recovery magic, although he's clearly an attack magic user. Impossible. Is this the result of the Diamond Kingdom experiments? Now, this part's important because a grimoire is technically a person's soul. When the user dies, the grimoire dies. Unless the grimoire evolves into a 5-leaf clover, which is a special grimoire, therefore technically a grimoire is someone's soul. Moris's research in the Diamond Kingdom have caused him not only to be able to mind control mages with the diamond in their forehead, but to also change one's physical soul and grimoire, allowing Moris to combine two souls into one and allow the user to control magic, which he would not have been able to do before. For example, Mars using mineral and fire magic from Fauna. After this early mention of Moris, he went quiet and dark until he was mentioned again almost 80 chapters later during chapter 92, when Mars says, "After that, I was brainwashed by the mage scholar Moris and surgically modified. They made me fight with a grimoire that had your power transplanted into it." Since then, in order to make amends to Fauna while out on a cruel mission, I've been stealthily saving lives. Moris currently controls the Diamond Kingdom from the shadows. It isn't the country Fauna loved. Once again, Moris is mentioned to control a whole country from the shadows, using any means possible to test on its citizens and its army. Moris, since his introduction, has been the only major developed villain alongside the elves and devils, but unlike them, we still know very little about the supposed Diamond Mage scholar, Moris. Also guys, if you've made it this far into the video, don't forget we're doing a giveaway in this video at 500 likes. So join Discord, hit the like button, and let's continue why Moris is an issue. Almost 200 chapters would pass until we hear of Moris again. But in chapter 273, we see him and he says, "Listen, I was in charge of all the sorcery studies in the Diamond Kingdom. I'll fix him up, no problem. He'll be stronger than before. On top of that, the magic for the ritual of the Advent was collected by the Candelo, which I made. A little trust, please. That traitor Mars got me run out of the kingdom, but I ended up somewhere more interesting. I am grateful to you people." Now, Moris claims that Mars ousted him as a traitor and he was thrown out, and because of this, he has now aligned himself with the Dark Triad and is openly, freely testing on Dante's body magic, and healing him from Asta's anti-magic sword injury in the process. Moris claims he is grateful to the Dark Triad, and of course he is. He's literally doing exactly what he wants to do: test on people with open hearts and obtain new knowledge from his own end goal. One chapter later, in chapter 274, we get to see Moris again, and in this panel we get to see Moris's setup, and now a lot of people who are not paying attention would not mind this panel. It's just another panel of Black Clover, right? No! Wrong! Incorrect! Moris in this panel has a 7-monitor PC setup. Ladies and gentlemen, Black Clover is set in the 1400s to the 1300s era. How on God's earth, when everyone else is using candlelight, does Moris have a computer setup with not 1, but 7 monitors? Moris is literally typing on a keyboard and mouse, while everybody else we've seen is using pen and paper. Moris is over 500 years ahead in technology. This panel is more important than you think. This tells us that something is wrong. Something is incorrect. And the fact that Tabata decided to use an entire panel on Moris's PC setup, it's more than just a coincidence. I believe Moris is a third party. He is not originally from the Diamond Kingdom. His technology is centuries ahead of the Clover, Heart, Diamond, and Spade Kingdom. I believe Moris is from another country who is currently in the Diamond Kingdom to spy and obtain his research. Once ousted as a traitor, he aligns himself with the Dark Triad. He helps their plans to once again use them to further his own motives and projects. We then see Moris again in chapter 279 at the center of the Advent of Cliffoff. Noct immediately recognizes Moris and says, "Isn't that Moris? The magic scholar who is exiled from the Diamond Kingdom?" In the mere moments that pass, we finally get some information on Moris, who claims, "Using the wisdom of the Heart Kingdom, I discovered a way to accelerate the tree of Cliffoff's growth. To think that in exchange for being born blind, I'd be blessed with abilities like this." Moris has now obtained devil powers, and although he was originally born blind, he has now the ability to see, and not only that, now he has knowledge of the last 1,200 years of history. Moris has been the ultimate spy. He has stolen knowledge of the Clover, Spade, Diamond, and Heart Kingdom. Of the last 1,200 years, Moris has obtained all the knowledge. In the chapters that follow after Dante's defeat, Moris simply does not care. All he cares about is furthering his research, and he wonders to himself what sort of magic was used to defeat the undefeatable godly man, Dante Zogratis. Beyond this point, there's not much else I can say about Moris. It's very clear and obvious to me that he is a third party in this arc, and that I can almost guarantee that Moris will not be defeated in this arc, given how his research and 7-monitor PC setup is centuries ahead of the Clover Kingdom. I believe that Moris is from another country, and after this arc, after obtaining the knowledge of the last 1200 years, Moris will return back to his country, and this is where Black Clover is heading. All out kingdom war that would want to destroy the four major powers of Clover, Spade, Diamond, and Heart. Now, there could be many reasons as to why. Why does everyone else hate the Four Kingdoms? But let's leave that for a theory for a future video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, as we do daily content here on this channel. My name is Sammy, as always. Peace!